So, is another jam-packed weekend of wrestling. I feel like there's almost a glut of them now.
Yeah. Oof.
I feel like we have reached this point where there's 4 or 5 weekends a year where everybody has like a major multi-hour show,
Mhm.
and you can either go through the gauntlet or you basically just pick the one you want to ride with and then kind of pick up the rest as you go along after the fact.
Yeah, that's what we have to do because we have a baby.
So that's what we're doing now because the marathon days are behind us. So uh, we're going to be focusing on WrestlePalooza because of the grander spectacle and the shift that it represents in the industry at large. I think the one thing that's interesting about this for WWE and AEW is that this represents kind of the final destination for both of them. They have ultimately moved to what I imagine would be their streaming configuration of choice. So WWE on ESPN, this is the pilot event for them. And then you have AEW finally moving their pay-per-views to HBO Max, albeit with a pay model, but we're going to be mainly WrestlePalooza focused. So before we hop into the show, this past week leading up to the show, Seth Rollins, Triple H, Cody Rhodes, there was the big full court press on ESPN and the morning shows to promote WrestlePalooza. And on Friday, and this is actually what inspired this first segment, was Cody coming onto the set of Get Up, and the first words coming out of his mouth were, WrestlePalooza, what a ridiculous name.
That's Cody Rhodes.
Which Cody Rhodes continues to be bafflingly bad with mainstream media.
I know. You can put on the suit, but
Yeah.
you can't like walk the walk.
The
You can't talk the talk. Actually,
just
you can walk the
he's wearing the company man's uniform, but for some reason, whenever it comes time to do company man things, he gets tongue tied.
Yeah.
So he starts off by just basically burying the name of the show, rightfully so. Rightfully so. But you and I engaged in a little thought experiment. We generated a list of pay-per-view titles,
Short-lived,
and by that I mean ones that did not did not stick around for more than 2 years. And this is across WWE, WWF, WCW, NWA, all of the American promotions, all dating back to 1985, I believe is what I set the endpoint as. I sent it at like around WrestleMania, just calling it like the modern era. So we created this master list. We all went through and we went through 2 rounds of rankings until eventually we got to an aggregate of 10. So between you and I, this is what we believe to be the 10 worst short-lived pay-per-view names of all time. We're going to unveil these one by one, and then we're going to talk about whether or not WrestlePalooza is dumber than that name. So, 2 rounds of rankings between you and I, and at number 10, we came with Capital Punishment.
Yeah, Capital Punishment. I just pictured it like on TV, and I pictured it like with an emblem, and I just hated it. It just gave me like MAGA vibes. It gave me like,
Unlike anything currently about the product now, though.
yeah, it gave me just the worst, like yuckiest. What I hate about the like certain parts of wrestling now ish, but like worse in the Vince era, probably just Capital Punishment. Ugh.
It's evoking some tough stuff.
It's evoking some things that I don't like, and that was the reason I put that one on the list.
The show absolutely took place in Washington, D.C.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that, but I know that.
Capital Punishment.
Right. So, like, you have that, and that's probably the emphasis, but it's also like the death penalty. So it's like it's just you're giving it's just giving that very just like mwah, that beautiful like runaway train thoughtlessness of like the Vince McMahon era.
Mm.
And it's but what I could say is that it was probably a play on words for the location, which injected some thoughtfulness to it. Some like someone actually sat down and tried to create a pun for this. And so I put it at 10 because as we go higher up, there are just some names here that you're just like, what is this? What am I looking at? So as far as how WrestlePalooza compares to it, is it better or is it worse than this?
I think it's better.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more, I think it's at the very least, it's fun.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
think
It's not,
people have fun
it's
making
not
fun of
fun.
it. That doesn't evoke the death penalty. So there
Right.
you go.
Yeah, definitely.
See, I told you we weren't going to be all negative here. All right, number 9. This one might be the one that where we differ because this is the one where we had the widest variance.
Okay.
And you were at the very top, and I was at the very bottom.
Oh no.
Can you guess what it was?
Is it? I don't want to give it away.
Give it away. I think you know what it is.
Is it BARE?
It's barely legal.
Okay, so I hated this one the most. Why would they call a promotion barely legal? And then I was thinking maybe it's because they were doing some like Darby Allin shit and they were smashing themselves through glass,
Yes.
or they were doing some things that they might not, they shouldn't have been doing.
All right, so it won't surprise you to know that this is an ECW pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And the reason why I didn't vote it towards the top is because barely legal is definitely not a misnomer. Like they have that promotion is and was notorious and by some people beloved for the barely legal aspects of it. In fact, it's probably the illegal aspects of it that have like launched its legend.
That's why, is that I don't have any context for like what occurred on the show. So like I just I just hear barely legal and I think Vince McMahon and I think about like all the shittiness that was like the divas, not
Yeah.
shittiness, but like the way women wrestlers were treated and stuff. That's like immediately where my mind goes for it. But like it absolutely could have been some like
Well, it was probably all of it.
it was everything.
It was everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. That one was number one for me, but it sounds like it got bumped down for
I brought the average way down, and it's not necessarily like the show name that I would roll with,
yeah.
but
I think WrestlePalooza is a way better name than Barely Legal.
yeah, that one definitely clears it
Okay, cool.
for sure. All right. This one, number 8, is just a mismatch of ideas and also like a weird construction of the device. So like this is ground zero colon in your house,
Oh yeah, that's right.
which is strange because growing up, I remember the in your house part of it being like preceding whatever the
In Your House Ground Zero.
in your house because it was a series. It's in your house. It's like the pay-per-view series. It's like WWE in your house, as in like basically like
The
this
wrestlers are right in front of you.
anything that wasn't SummerSlam or WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or any of like the big four like just fell into the in your house bucket, and they had like a rotating list of mediocre titles, as is evidenced here by the they're unaware of it, but the invocation of Ground Zero.
Like a September 11th moment.
No. That probably took place like 4 or 5 years prior to then, so we're gonna let him skate on that one. That's not to say that Vince wouldn't use that motif, though. Like, I still feel like he still kind of feels like, because remember, like he is like of the Donald Trump ethos, where it's like there's like that, like that famous clip of like Donald Trump on the phone during like 9/11 when like there's the footage of the smoldering towers and he's just like talking about how great the buildings are and the buildings that are now gone.
Well, he was talking about how, wasn't it like he was saying that like, oh, now my building is the tallest.
Yes, that was, yeah, he was building comparison. So like I feel like these two men are of the same ilk. So if you told me that this show was happening maybe like a year or two after the fact, and it was in New York City, and they wanted to play on the terminology,
It would
like
be crazy.
it would be crazy, but like it wouldn't be like towards the top of what would be possible with Vince McMahon. So like but probably a half decade prior to then. But this one I docked more on just again, like the milquetoast quality of it. It's like I feel like there are way cooler ways to like position a wrestling show than just like Ground Zero. It just seems like empty conflict language that doesn't really get me excited for anything.
Ground Zero bad, In Your House good though.
In Your House good, but In Your House beforehand.
I think
I like it as a prefix.
Now that you've explained In Your House, I kind of like it because it's like it reminds me of like an old commercial where like the wrestlers are like in your living room kind of.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? They had that same motif. And I'm a fan for 30 years, but I relapsed for a while, which I tell you all the time is the like, the natural progression of the wrestling fan it's like a rite of passage is to have a like pronounced lapsed phase. And it came out of it about 2019, and that was around the same time that NXT was starting to revive a lot of that like in your house aesthetic, and that's kind of what brought me to those shows, because I think there was one in your house event that they had with it was a triple threat with like Rhea Ripley and I think it was Charlotte Flair and Io Sky.
Wow. Even back then.
But they're two of them are babies, so it's like Charlotte was coming down to kind of give them the rub. And I just remember being so excited about the whole in your house thing. They had like the house sets. People would come out of the door.
Whoa.
They'd have like, yeah, it was just kind of like a mid-90s aesthetic. It was pretty cool. They should not lose that. But we have Ground Zero at 8. We both agree WrestlePalooza is not as bad as that, right?
Say WrestlePalooza is still better than that.
Okay. 7. It might run the table here. 7 require. So I'm gonna do 6 and 7 at the same time because we both had them in the same position.
Okay.
This actually required like a Google coin flip. Oh
my God.
Because their aggregate ratings were dead even.
Yeah.
So that is number 7, just a show called Bragging Rights.
Oh no. Yeah, that's right.
And number 6, This Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah, I would actually say Bragging Rights is worse than This Tuesday in Texas, even though This Tuesday in Texas is really bad. Just because Bragging Rights implies that, like, I don't know. I feel like championship? Like,
I just think Bragging Rights are probably the lamest booking angle you could ever come up with. Right.
Like,
so you remember that thing we always laugh about where Cody Rhodes, like during the Royal Rumble, he went on to Late Night on Fallon or something like that?
Yes, they talked about.
He talked about he tried to briefly summarize for the casual viewing audience, mostly uninitiated probably, the feud between him and Kevin Owens and why they should tune in on Saturday and watch them fight.
And he was like, because Kevin Owens has a tiny weenie.
Right.
It was like supposed to bring all of these like unknowing fans into the fold, and it was just like the biggest flop Tina.
He inferred that penis envy was the instigating incident for their feud.
Dude, it's another Cody Rhodes like flop Tina moment where like he has the suit, he has the look, he has the hair, he has it all. And then when somebody asks him to just like a basic question, he is completely unrehearsed. Dude, if I were in the audience and I had never watched a wrestling show, I'd be like, why? Like,
right.
Get this guy away from me.
That's kind of what I thought it was all about over there.
Oh my God. Yeah, right. It's like you completely delivered the stereotype of what I expected, whereas wrestling is so much deeper and there are so many more layers to it. And like, that's a gross underselling.
And nobody would know that or appreciate that more than him or agree with that sentiment more than him.
And it was a bummer. And I don't know if it has something to do with like you have 10 seconds to like describe this. And like,
yeah,
I just feel like that's like one of the most disappointing things I've seen Cody Rhodes do. Cause like,
Is try to promote his product for people that aren't paying to actually be there.
Yeah, because he had it all going for him. It was good up until he was asked to describe why they were fighting, and it was just a bummer because it was just, again, it was so much more than that, and it turned out to be so much more than that. Like when they blew off that rivalry and they did the ladder match, and it was like, he put his head through the ladder and all of that. It's like, oh God, like you could have talked about why this was a real feud,
Right.
and like, yeah, it wasn't perfect. There was a lot of car videos and stuff, but like I still thought that like he just completely fumbled the ball in that one. Anyway.
But even with that, so like I bring that up to say that even with him mischaracterizing their entire feud and distilling it down to penis envy, I still feel like penis envy is more compelling of an angle than bragging rights.
Oh, yeah. No, totally. I feel like
It feels more specific, though both are ill-advised, I would
it
say.
just feels like a throwaway. It
Yeah.
just feels like a throwaway.
Oh, yeah.
Like we needed to do like every like however many weeks, like we were talking about on Unreal, like every 10 weeks they have a PLE or whatever. It's like they need to just fill the one.
You know, like how AEW will have like their dynamites, but they'll have like special branding. It'll be like, you know, Dynamite,
Like city specific.
Blood and Guts, or Dynamite, or like the one where Mercedes debuted. It was like Big Business.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know, that's the type of thing that bragging rights is giving me.
Yeah,
So,
it just gives me low stakes.
100%. I think WrestlePalooza is in fact cooler than that. So we're gonna keep going up the ladder, and we're gonna go to this Tuesday in Texas.
I think WrestlePalooza is better than that, and I don't know if it even needs like an explanation because it's like it's pretty self-explanatory.
Look, if you're telling me that look, I think that the real killer here is Tuesday.
Yeah, there's nothing more uneventful than a Tuesday. And like, I don't know, man. It just seems like they needed a name and somebody needed to write something.
When is it? Oh, it's Tuesday. I don't know about that.
I mean,
I don't think I'm coming to that one.
I don't know. I mean, nothing else is going on Tuesday. It's kind of cool that they booked such a
You're coming around. You're like, I don't know, dude.
maybe it's kind of cool that they booked it on
Maybe
Tuesday
they should have called it this Saturday in Indiana.
instead of WrestlePalooza.
It's debatable. I'm not going to say they.
I don't like that it just is like, just, it is exactly what it is.
These two things. So the next one is same thing. As it really, I keyed on one detail that made it insufferable, and that's kind of what really pushed it up the charts for me. The fifth one, number 5, with a bullet. Anarchy Rules. RULZ.
And this is the sad thing about this one is Anarchy Rules, RULES, would have never made the list for me. Like, I would have been all over that.
It's the Z.
It's the RULZ. And why they did that? Did you find out why they did it?
So I didn't do any, like I said, I didn't do any research in the card, any of the aesthetic. Similar to Capital Punishment, where I could just infer like it's got to be Washington D.C. Like I don't know where it's located, but I'm guessing. Here's what I'm guessing. Like the aesthetic is, it's like a brick wall with graffiti,
Mm-hmm.
and it's someone that's tagged it
Yeah.
with RULZ.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, and I think it was because
Was there like a cultural thing, like a Z?
it's the late '90s. It's Fight Club. It's The Matrix. It's counterculture.
Yeah, that's Anarchy Rules.
We're all kind of just like enjoying and eating that up. And I think that's what it is. I think that's, and also, it feeds again, ECW show. So, I have to say WrestlePalooza
Is better.
is better. Yeah. Pretty, one, because it's like,
It's spelled right.
it's spelled right. And I think that's really the one.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Next.
All right. This one I think was a WWE show in homage to ECW, I think. But it was number 4 is December to Dismember.
Actually, now that I'm like hearing it out loud, I don't hate it, but reading it was December to December. I just think like a beheaded like Santa Claus or something.
Yeah.
Like something like really like
Yeah, or like Santa Claus with a chainsaw.
yeah. They probably couldn't like actually like show Santa with no head. That's very dark.
So I put this at the top for two reasons, and there was one was like very thinking of like the talent at the time. And I just kept thinking about how much of a pain in the ass it would be to you and me at December to Dismember. Someone had to have botched that.
No, you can't expect any wrestler to like say that angrily and loudly in the ring. I would say I think this one is actually
Oh,
better.
wow.
I just think it's so crazy that it just works. I just think that I'm just in the fan club.
This is definitely
I think it's hard. I feel for the people that are write like a violent holiday name. Like I feel for the writers that had to come up with a name that was holiday related and rhymed. And I just think about that and that makes me feel for them. So I'm gonna say December to Dismember goes into my
I'm gonna try to say December to Dismember. I'm having a hard time saying it right now.
No, I know. It's ridiculous. I think it's just so ridiculous that it makes me laugh.
It's certainly the more imaginative of the 10 we have.
Yeah.
So I think it probably came from the same spirit as WrestlePalooza.
Yeah.
Which is let's just do something really goofy.
Let's do something goofy.
That will catch people's attention, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't like things where it's like, I'm gonna dismember you, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, true.
You know?
Where it's like, it's wrestling.
No, you're not.
You're not gonna do that.
You're not.
You're gonna pretend like you're gonna and then
do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a frustrating thing that happens every time at AEW.
If someone got dismembered, this would be one of the greatest pay-per-view names.
Well, it depends what you consider dismembering because
I have a low bar. It doesn't have to be like a major thing.
Seems like both Darby Allin and Moxley having their earlobes dismembered, so
one time
does that count?
one time I remember there was an angle between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. I think it was like right before COVID, and the whole angle was that Seth Rollins stomped Rey's head onto the corner of the steps and gouged his eye out.
Oh my god!
But he had like a fake eye.
No way.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you sometime. I think it was right before you started. But I think it was right before before you found out I like was starting to watch wrestling again.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, angles like this like made me apprehensive to bring it up to.
I don't know. I would love that. I would probably love.
But yeah, that's the irony. Is I feel like that would have been like the gateway content that you would have needed.
I disagree though because back then I really like I had my shield up. Like
Yeah.
I was like ready to like be not into wrestling.
If anything confirms what I think this is, like I'm out.
Yeah, like exactly. Like I'll take whatever bait. Like
yeah,
I was very like wrestling is bad and I have always hated it. So, but I admit now that I was wrong.
partially wrong. Then you saw an 8-minute Brock Lesnar match up in the show, and you're like, this kind of sucks sometimes.
And then you see Brock Lesnar's pants ripped from the back, and then kick John Cena's ass the next week.
That's right. He shouldn't be here, and we all know why.
Oh.
All right, let's finish up the list real quick. So you know what, I gotta say, like, I still think WrestlePalooza is better than this, but I think that the case you made brought me a lot closer to your side than I was when we first started this. The first three, the top three are, I mean, it's just like, I'm going to just go and preemptively say that I think that WrestlePalooza tops all of these. Number 3 is just a show called Beach Blast. Completely innocuous show title.
I think anything with beach is weird for wrestling. I think like I don't know. It makes me think of Bash at the Beach and like what a disaster that was. So I just think beaches and wrestling should just forever just like stay away from each other.
Bash at the Beach oddly represents like the highest of highs and the lowest of lows for WCW because you're right. It's like when you said like that was a complete shit show, I was like, wait a minute, no, that was the beginning of the NWO. That was like their like watermark moment. But then I was like, no, wait, there was the Bash at the Beach where like Vince Russo and Hulk like shot at each other at the end and they literally had to like go to the locker room and reshuffle the main event like in 20 minutes. Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, that's what I just feel like. I don't know. Maybe
There's not good. There's no good juju at the beach.
Yeah, it just keep it out of there. You know?
Get it out of there.
No one wants that shit in there.
No, we'd rather Palooza. That's how weird it is. We'd rather Palooza.
Okay.
Number 2 is called Holiday Hell.
See, that's like another one. December to Dismember. I have a soft spot for holiday.
Holiday Hell. Of all these, the Holiday Hell for sure is just like the most first draft idea on this list.
I love it. I don't hate it. I think Holiday Hell is just bad because it's holiday, but I have a soft spot for the holiday.
This seems like something where like you book the venue and then they ask you like, hey, we need to put it on the website what this is going to be as a placeholder. Like, what's this called? And you don't know.
Yeah.
But you know it's going to happen around Christmas time.
Or just like, when you get to the show and like they have like a big tree on them like as a prop. I don't hate any of it. Give me a good Christmas show.
Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe we'll go see Holiday Hell.
See Holiday Hell. Get dismembered.
Let's have we'll have Grandma watch the baby and then we'll go see Holiday Hell. Speaking of hell, number 1, unanimous. You and I were the closest on this one. I had this at number 1. You had it at number 3 on the first round of rankings. Great Balls of Fire, which was also headlined by a match with Brock Lesnar. That was Brock Lesnar, and it was Samoa Joe.
Oh man!
Which that doesn't sound like probably was a pretty good match.
Probably a great match.
But they called it Great Balls of Fire, and this is just for me. This represents just like pitch perfect Vince McMahon disconnect of like what is cool and popular, and for him it's like, oh yeah, like let's have a title that evokes the Jerry Lewis song.
Yeah, or like what did he have? What was the famous thing that he had Roman Reigns say?
Suffer succotash.
He suffers.
I know immediately. You know what's really funny too is that if you go back here, he like stutters over that.
No.
Yeah, because he knows it's a deadline. Yeah, so he's like almost forcing it out. And he does the whole. I think he kind of says like despicable, suffering succotash, like December to dismember, first man to dismember.
Great balls of
fire.
This is
Great Balls of Fire is head and shoulders above all the rest. I think the one thing that we left here understanding is that WrestlePalooza, in the scheme of names that we have now, definitely underwhelming, probably short-lived, but I mean, when you go into the pantheon, I mean, there have been some real stinkers here.
I feel like they could have done like a play on sports entertainment though. Like I feel like
that was their whole thing when Triple H like had his little addresses that he likes to have now. He likes to pretend that he's like the president of wrestling. He president of business, and he like comes out there and goes like, "Sports is entertainment and always has been."
I didn't hate it because like
no, it was
wrestling has had a long and arduous road being a part of like the greater sports world, so it was cool to have him like kind of just be like, it always has and it always will be,
always has been, always will be.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know, something a little bit more like in tune with the network would have been, I thought.
You have to lose the wrestle prefix. I think if you're gonna you can't have two major shows in your calendar, WrestleMania and WrestlePalooza. I don't think. I think that's just like you're creating all this undue confusion for her in terms of like, you know, because it's like they ran into it with the reaction. It's like you're evoking kind of like that big event name, and then you're coming out with kind of a standard 5 match PLE that has a lot of names on it, but it's kind of how they've been doing business. Like
Yeah.
it's the big ones are the ones that require 2 days they're the weekend shows, and
Yeah.
this was not that. So I mean, I'm not sure if they're trying to like get it to a place where like they're in the same league, but I think that until they are, you probably have to lose the wrestle prefix in it. So I don't know. Maybe they'll keep it and they'll just expand it to 2 weeks, or to 2 weeks. When by the time our son is our age, it will be a 2 week WrestleMania, I think. So yeah, that's our top 10. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're going to actually get into the show WrestlePalooza with our thoughts. We're just going to talk about mainly what the results mean for the booking and kind of where we stand with WWE in general right now. Okay, so we have the actual card to talk about, not just the name. Show starts off like we talked about with the State of the Union, which always happens at like the end of Raw on Netflix and the debut, or WrestleMania or WrestlePalooza. Triple H gives his big impassioned speech. There's a pretty cool package with like a nice background track. I think it was pretty effective. I have great, but Vince featured prominently.
I'm really disappointed by that. I know that you can't ignore like Vince McMahon's legacy on wrestling, but I don't know, man. I would like to.
Gonna send it better myself.
That's I guess that's my main point.
And in our plight to do that, we are now left tripping over the remnants in Brock Lesnar, according to Pat McAfee. A jungle cat with the strength of 1,000 elephants. Just a generational quote from Pat there. He destroys John Cena. This is nothing new to anybody that has watched the show or is, had any news about it. But the big story of the match was I counted 6 F5s and then a seventh after the end of the match. The ref also got one, and I actually thought it was interesting that he took the F5 better than Cena did on all 7 attempts. But I think what I really just want to talk about briefly, and only briefly, because like this Cena thing is it's exhausting, and I'm so glad that it's like getting to the end of it. But like when you just step back and just kind of view the overall arc of it, right? Are they asking us to just completely pretend that the first half year didn't happen, and now the important thing is for him to end on kind of this like fallen hero arc with Brock Lesnar of all people?
Dude, I don't know. I feel like, when we were watching Unreal and they were like, they had all these graphics like, well, then we could have done this, and then we could have done that, and then there's this tree of like 6 different ways we could have done this. I really don't feel like it works like that. Like, I feel like with Cena was like, I want to come back for a year, figure out what the fuck to do with me. They tried.
Right.
Things happened, and directions were taken, and there was no like sticking to the plan because of like the big personalities involved. And I just feel like Cena had this big plan where he was going to go heel. And again, it's like when he did go heel, it was so shocking. But then the actual run of it,
Right.
and the return to the baby face was so horrible that it just makes the whole thing so. It's just.
If he didn't have the about face, baby face turn after SummerSlam and he was still going, do you think we would have come and to the other side of it and been like, okay, well, you know what, at the very least, they've committed to this for an entire year. And because I think that maybe like at this point, even with how poorly it was set up, I think the greatest sin of it all was them nakedly going back on it and admitting defeat on it.
Well, the thing is, you can't just have Cena being a babyface for an entire year. The problem with this whole thing is that Cena wanted to have a fucking year-long retirement.
Mm.
And I think that that's really selfish. I think it's a really selfish thing for an older wrestler to do, especially when he's been out in Hollywood doing commercials, having a completely separate career.
He still is. I mean, that doesn't stop. I mean, it's like the Peacemaker premiere was a couple, like weeks ago, and
it's like you can't ask for a year in wrestling and just do and be your good guy, do your good guy thing. Like you have to do something.
Right.
And so they had to do something, but they didn't. I feel like they didn't truly like have enough time to like figure out the ins and outs of it or like how he was going to turn back. Like Cody Rhodes was obviously going to change him back. It was going to always be like Cody Rhodes' like job to like make John Cena good again. But like it just fucking flopped. And like I just think I think ultimately John Cena needed to have like maybe 6 matches. Maybe 6 matches where he just goes against the top guys, wins against the top guys, gets the belt, and then gracefully steps the fuck aside. Like, this podcast is going to be 9 years because I could talk for another like 6
yeah, we won't go too much farther into it. Like, let's talk about what it could have been for just a second. Like where we feel like
it could have been
is salvaged, right?
And he's wrestled everybody at this point. Like
he's wrestled everybody that he's wrestled before. What my biggest disappointment and biggest surprise from this is that he didn't put a single young person over with any of this.
Right.
Except for Logan Paul, but then it's like he beat him, and then ultimately, like, Logan Paul is just like, you can't.
And then he disappeared for like since pretty much.
Logan Paul is basically John Cena without the resume. It's how could we have unfucked this? Like if we would have gone into the time machine,
That could be a whole episode.
So let me just end on like what I feel like you could have done to tie your two top stories right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't John Cena have helped anoint Seth Rollins on WrestleMania? Why did it have to be a conspiracy with Seth and Paul alone? Why couldn't it have been John Cena as the founder of the Vision?
Yeah, that would have been good.
And then you would have Cody and Punk.
And you wouldn't even have had to take as many bumps.
You would have Cody and Punk, and then versus Seth and John Cena as your feud to end to go through the remaining part of the year.
It would have been so much less isolated.
Right.
So much less isolated where John Cena would go into the ring and just talk about how he's going to ruin wrestling. Like this nonsensical, like.
I was going to ruin wrestling until I actually saw someone who was worthy of my mantle.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's these three guys.
Right. And that makes perfect sense because they are really great. And like they are a really, really great team.
And it just gives, and like, I love Seth. I'm not going to say I love Seth Rollins. I appreciate Seth Rollins. I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's the guy that don't? No. Yeah. What?
Huh?
I think Seth Rollins needs the guy next to him. And I think Cena's rub would have really been like that would have really made like because I think the real metric for this whole retirement run is who did it help besides John Cena.
Oh, John Cena doesn't give a shit. I that was another thing that they I think unintentionally showed in Unreal, which was that like John Cena had a plan to be back for a year and did not have a real plan of like how this was gonna go.
No.
And I think they accidentally gave us too much information with the Cena stuff.
Right. And made it seem like they were, planning the assault on the Bin Laden compound when they were describing the genius of the Elimination Chamber.
Right. It's like, y'all, this is not. Anyway, so
That's my thought on how we could have potentially gotten out of this whole thing that we're in right now. We're going to have Cena and Lesnar probably at Saturday night's main event on December 13th. I think that's like the final date for him. So yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. So let's move.
Kids were crying.
Kids were crying. They love that. They love.
After
John came out striding atop a wave of white children.
Yeah, that was that was a little jarring because I don't
Nary a token person of color in the group.
I thought that was strange because I was like, oh, they're all like little boys. They're like little white boys to look like Cena maybe, but they weren't. They were like also girls. So like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so they have white girls and boys, but there's no people of color here.
I'll spot him a little bit. I'll spot like if it was an 80% split, I would have been like Indianapolis, but 100% seems intentional.
Yeah, it just seems like a little. It's just like I said, like
100% seems like, I won't say intentional. It seems like an oversight.
A real oversight, yeah. But like kids were cute. They were cute with Cena.
They were having fun.
My initial reaction to it was aw, but then
yeah,
like that Britney Britney meme.
Weird. Maybe production designer should have chimed in on that one.
Then after that, promptly was a Hulk tribute, which I kept thinking like, what did you have to do to get into like the Hulk tribute section?
Yeah.
Like, what did you have to do? Like, did you have to like say that Hulk Hogan was a good person and that he was great and there was nothing ever wrong with him?
Well, there's no shortage of that apparently. If the discourse after his passing was any indication, you could definitely fill out a section.
Yeah, well, I probably would have had a great all-American great beer, whatever they call it.
That's right, dude.
That's right, dude. Okay, so the next one was the Usos versus the Vision.
The Usos versus the Vision.
With LA Knight as the special guest ref.
I have here at the start because he was announced as a special guest ref during the pre-show, so they didn't even do this on like a preceding SmackDown or anything like that. And I said that LA Knight fans rejoice because nothing says over like being shoehorned into a big show like this.
Yeah.
He's at the point now where they're just trying to get him on the card and they don't know how they're going to do it. And they just put him on there. And that's great. I'm so happy for my guy.
Yeah, I have different thoughts about LA. I like LA Knight a lot, but like I'm perpetually frustrated by like the inability to like just have heat. So I liked this. I thought it was a perfect place for him. And I thought he just
officiating.
I think he's great on the mic. But yeah, I want more for him, but he doesn't seem to want more for himself. So yeah, I'm like again, I
leave that right there.
I really like this spot for him, and like I said, I thought he did a really good job being a ref. I loved Jimmy and Jay's entrance.
Yes.
I loved the like supportive brother vibes of like Jimmy supporting Jay and like
yes, and the original day one theme, which I've missed honestly. So it was nice to see that even just for a little bit because obviously we have to go into Jay's theme because we have to yeet.
I know, and I thought it was really interesting. It was like the old theme, and then the it's just me ooze. And I was like, but it's not just you ooze.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
It's just us. Just us.
And I liked that Jay was like higher and yeeting, and Jimmy was like that like supportive like role.
Are you ever like me and you look at Jimmy and you're like, why weren't you the guy?
No,
why didn't they put yeet on you?
Because he is like, I just get the vibe that like he is like his vibe is just more like down to earth and like he's not as much like I don't want to like
you need that big personality. Yeah,
like it's like Macho Man Randy Savage like taught me you have to live your character,
right?
Like that's like success in wrestling. And I feel like Jey Uso is probably not the same guy, but like he has that personality. He has like the vibes. Whereas Jimmy, I feel like he just had never created like a monster. Do you know what I mean? Or a persona that was like big enough to like rival that.
No, Big Jim.
Yeah. Oh, really?
That's his. Yeah, he's just Big Jim.
Big Jim is not great though. It's not great.
What I'd say was great, dude.
Yeah, so I mean he's like, but I like him as like the intellectual, like supportive brother to Jay, who is like the rock star.
Yeah.
I like the dynamic.
Before we get into the match, though, like I wanted to ask you, like I just wanted to say and see if you agree, like it's crazy that there are no titles on the line here. So, like currently, our tag team champions are Finn and JD on Raw, and the Wyatt Six.
The Wyatt Six is crazy.
So the Wyatt Six has tag team gold, and neither of these two do.
I just feel like they have to be building up to that. They have to just there has to be like a
What if this is all leading up to the Vision and the Wyatt Six?
I would be sad about it. I would not want them to do that.
What if Braun Breaker is about to spear Jey Uso, and then the lights go out, and then they come up, and then it's Nikki Cross in the mask, and she's right in front of Braun. She scares the shit out of him, and he like runs into the ring.
And he does like
he sells crazy for her.
Scott Steiner scream out of the ring.
What is that? The Devil Woman? I don't know. I think it'd be pretty good.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Wyatt Six is just frustrating.
What a job. It's all part of the show.
It's scripted. It's not real.
We turn the lights out. They don't do that.
Jimmy, so I thought Jimmy took a couple really hard bumps in this match. I didn't like how supportive and happy he looked on the way in.
There was a rough, like the one you showed me was like a really rough, like back bump when he was like flying out over the top rope.
Right, he flew over the top rope and then back bumped his head on the floor, and then took a spear and then a chair to the back right in succession. It was hard to watch.
Well, Jay, I had this explained to me recently, like just a few hours ago. But like, I guess he took a chair deflection off of Braun Breaker's back onto his own head and concussed himself, and that's why he was busted. Because like you and I spent the entire post match just like we were piecing together the replays like the Zapruder film. We were just like, okay, wait a second, he's not busted open here in this frame, but he is here. You know,
he's not like a guy that goes under the ring and pokes himself in the head. So
no, he's not. He doesn't gig.
Yeah. So I just remember that after they kind of lean off of Jimmy and the double kicks start occurring by the Usos.
As they do. And
then Bronson Reed does his like bowling ball thing. There was like a series of like unimaginable botches by him. It was just like botch.
So I have this. I missed Breakensteiner, which is the one where he like runs up and then does like the head scissors off of the top rope and does like kind of the salute to the crowd. Botched that, but this is the one I wanted to point out. A Bronson Reed motherfucking moonsault. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, that was cool.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, he didn't get a full rotation on it, but just the fact that the man even had the cojones to even do something like that. There was a guy in WCW, his name was Hugh Morris, and he had kind of the same body type as Bronson Reed. He might have been a little more slight, but he was still a huge guy. And he pulled off just beautiful moonsaults. Just like it was just a sight to behold. And
so he was born for them.
Something about Bronson Reed in the air just then, I just found so majestic. All he had to do was do that tsunami. That tsunami is money. But that man, even though he had that in his pocket, was just like, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit more for the people.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a moonsault when I got no business doing it. I just appreciated it.
that was one of my biggest Mark moments was when
This.
it like Bronson Reed gave all those tsunamis to like everyone in the company, and like anyone who would stop him would get like 6 tsunamis.
Yeah.
And then the people at people at WWE would like write on Twitter like Bronson Reed needs to be stopped. This is dangerous and da 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 like all of this like, and I was like, wow, Bronson Reed really needs to stop doing these tsunamis. Like I bought into it so hard that like he's destroying people's careers. Like the tsunamis need to stop. And then they kept going, and I was like, maybe that doesn't work. Maybe I shouldn't have believed all that.
We
dude.
bled for that. That's
Anyway,
a blood capsule.
That's like one of my like I feel like I marked out for the tsunamis, the Shootnamis.
I always do. Just a little note here that so division win, it makes sense for them to win. The Usos don't need any more shine than they already have. They've been company for over a decade. But I just thought it was really interesting how you open the show up here for, probably an intended more casual audience. And you start off with Cena getting the shit kicked out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Usos who
Actually also really
could have potentially bridged like the modern fan with like the casual one, the uninitiated, also losing, and with Jay ending the match in a bloody concussed heap. So like I found the crowd to be like really bummed at this point, which I was like, this seems like not the right vibe going into this giant show on this new platform. I don't know. It's just there haven't really been a lot of opportunities to just like for the crowd to really go crazy.
Yeah.
Until
this match,
this match.
Such a treat. And this was made for, I think, Wrestle non-believers. This is the match that you show somebody who's never watched wrestling before.
Yes.
This should have been probably the first match of the night.
So I have here the first "This is awesome" chant of the night.
Yeah, of course.
And we're 90.
It's the first awesome match.
And we're 90 minutes into this paradigm shifting show.
This every bad guy wins show.
Every bad guy, all your favorites get buried.
Yeah, and bloodied.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Io and Becaire was like
The Quay.
or Becaire.
Pronounce it correctly.
I think was it Michael Cole? One of them was like Stephanie Becaire. Was like, you guys,
all of them.
They just cannot.
He still has like La Primera.
Ugh. Why won't anyone shake my hand?
I don't know, dude. I wouldn't.
Okay, so anyway, I really, really love this. I'm not good with the names of moves, but
I know the one you're talking about, though.
There's a couple that Becaire does that are just absolutely insane.
That are not the Devil's Kiss. We're not going to be talking about the damn ass slam.
Yeah, no, that's like a given. Everybody loves the
Everybody loves the butts.
But the Dragon Screw, that one looked like it broke Io in half from the inside.
Yeah, I have just a question of how is Io's right leg still attached to her body?
Yeah, totally.
I don't know how you like. It's genuinely a mystifying move. I don't know how you work it. It's like the tsunami that we were talking about. It's like what do you have to do to like take? How do you take a little off on something like that?
Yeah.
There was the second one was just absolutely heinous because it didn't even look like Io's leg moved with Stephanie.
Yeah.
It just her leg twisted and then came straight down. And I'm just like, I just don't know how she doesn't like rip her every ligament in her knee, you know?
And like, Io's such a sport. Like I feel like she just never like she never looks angry. She never looks like she knows like as soon as she enters the ring, like anything's possible. And like I don't know, dude. Becaire gave her like a big throat kick too from like the like.
Oh, she was laying it in for sure.
It was unreal, and like I almost got to the point where I was like, "Hey, dude, like chill, like it's Io Sky, like she's such a sweetheart, like stop hurting her."
Can I say something? This is this is how the new champion is supposed to perform.
Yeah, totally.
Io did not have to give her the Charlotte Flair treatment.
Right.
She met her exactly where she needed to be to making her the new champion make sense.
Yeah.
She didn't have to punch her tooth out to make it seem like she earned it.
Yeah, totally.
Stephanie went in there and you could tell when she walked out. I have right here is that as soon as she walked out, I said, it looks like it might be the night for her because it's just like she carries herself in a way where I went into this match thinking because she had been off Raw for like a little bit and they kind of brought her in back towards the end to bring into the whole Asuka business. And I thought, maybe they're pulling back on her because they might be wanting to revert back to Io for a little bit. And because we have all the time in the world for Stephanie. And maybe it's not the time for her, even though I would love for it to be. This match made me... I was already bought in, but I saw the correct amount of aura on Saturday. So I think it definitely was the right decision.
Yeah, except for when Michael Cole said, "I'd like to smooch that devil," or what is it?
That was Wade.
Wait, that was Wade.
Yeah.
It's like, move on.
When Wade in so many words said that I want to eat Stephanie's ass during the match.
And Wade Barrett has been gone.
Well, he was also like slamming a tall boy of like real American beer.
That's true. He was in the Hulk section.
Well, because like they went back to the desk after they kind of did the promo for the commemorative Hulk tall boys or whatever, and they all had one.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure what happened is they were like, yeah, we're all having a beer here at commentary. And then like once the camera's away, then they, put it aside. They come back, like Cole's got his coffee, like Pat's off doing more important things. And
Was he gone by this point?
He left after this match in just the most unceremonious way possible. Hey guys, sorry, I gotta do like actual stuff that matters to ESPN and Disney. Not this like, vanity project. But Wade still had his tall boy there, and I think he might be getting a little sauced on the commentary. So I think that's why he has little moments like that. But whatever.
Yeah, no, it was.
I like to get a little sauce when I watch the people grapple too every now and again. So I can't blame them.
Well, and you can't. I mean, she's amazing.
I'm not gonna sit there and watch the match and be like, "Oh, look at that full moon." Chill, buddy.
It's ESPN.
Chill.
Okay,
that's for Twitter. Okay,
let's be done with that era. Yeah, no, it was a really cool ending because when she got the belt, she like went up to her father after.
I love when you can tell that it actually means something. Yeah.
Yeah, she like went up to her father. Her father held the belt up in front of the audience, and then the coolest thing happened. And I love when this happens, especially in women's wrestling, because I feel like it doesn't happen that much in men's. But when she bowed, like got on the ground and bowed to Io Sky,
yeah,
and held the belts on the floor, and then the two just like collapsed into like a hug. I couldn't help it. I was like, I was a mess. And this is why I was like, how is this a mid-card match? Like, how is this a mid-card match? Like, this is worlds better than the two matches that I just witnessed. And they were good matches, but like, well, one of them was. But this match was... Yeah,
this match needed more F5s.
Yeah, this match was crazy. And both of these women are just so incredibly talented. So I loved how it ended. I loved everything about it.
She ends on, and I'm not sure what she calls it, but it's Will Ospreay's move. He calls it the Sky Twister Press.
Oh yeah, that crazy ending move.
An incredible way to cap off this match. Just a flex on an already, 15, 20-minute flex. And the crowd was ready for it, and they blew up. And I love this. I can't wait to see where they go. I'm imagining that Rhea is next for this one.
I think she's going to team up with Rhea.
I think you put them together at some point, probably WrestleMania.
I think you have to put them together now for them to have a feud later, though.
Well, I mean, like, when does the feud happen, though?
I think,
or like who is her for? Is it Asuka? Is that the first, or do we have Io and Asuka?
oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, her first one is going to be technically Tiffany Stratton because they're doing the crown jewel like champion versus champion thing. But I mean, like
Oh yeah.
the first like on Raw feud.
Yeah, I think it has to be Asuka because you cannot prevent Rhea Ripley and Stephanie Becerra from teaming up. Like it's so much better. It's like Jade and Bianca. They might not choose to do that, but that's what I would say is have Stephanie make her way through the roster and try to get her a rivalry with somebody else who's really talented and have her team up with Rhea and have Rhea take her under her wing and like have this duo of like absolute fucking powerhouses. Like,
Well, they must have huge plans for her because they're getting her in position in a hurry. So
well,
I
really quick, just
yeah,
before, I'm sorry to interrupt.
no,
I also think Rhea Ripley needs something to fucking do. She's kind of doing this thing that happens to me when I book her on GM mode, where it's like she's awesome and she's great and she's like legendary and she's got all the stats, but like for some reason she just gets caught.
yeah, you should definitely take advantage of the fact that she's reached the point where I likened her to kind of like the Undertaker of the women,
Yeah,
where it's like it really doesn't quite matter
what she does.
where she is. All that matters is that she's putting someone over, or that she's like elevating someone. Not necessarily even putting someone over, but just like elevating someone.
No, she's like beyond the point of like needing a rivalry and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think that like they need to have a storyline for her because it's been like a series of triple threats and promos and
Yeah. Well, the triple threat bug has bitten everybody. And that's just when, I mean, that just screams like we have a lot of talent and we don't necessarily know how to like graduate their feuds. But I just wanted to cap on this because we got a long match coming up. This one was this one was the longest of the night, and we're gonna try to like not have our review reflect that. But just final note on Vicara, they're getting her in position for something pretty quickly because she's been at the company for 1 year. I think it just really speaks to like where they see her and you know how quickly they're trying to get her. I think that this company and has kind of a general booking philosophy to not like put the rocket on people like that.
Mhm.
But I think that she is the exception, and it totally makes sense why when you see her. So I'm really, I don't know where they're going to go next with her. I think it might be a little too soon to put her in a feud with Rhea. I think you say that for WrestleMania, but like I know that whatever she's involved in, she's gonna make it look good.
yeah.
So, uh, penultimate match for the night. This is the one that I thought was gonna be the main event. This is definitely the one that was the A storyline for the company. Punk and the returning AJ Lee against Seth and Becky Lynch. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. The Vision, the power couple. It's a family feud, and this is a long match. I think it's a good match, but you know, I think that they really took their time with this one. I I think that I enjoyed it. I don't know if I feel like there were some instances where we could have cut down. I'm just gonna run through some of my thoughts and then see if you echo them. I thought they did a really good job of doing. I mean, like, you know, when you have a tag match where one of the combatants is like everybody's waiting on them to enter the ring, everybody's waiting on them to get their hands on person. You tease it, you draw it out. They really did a good job of elongating that, but also not making it seem like artificial. I felt like they had some really great spots that, like, one I remember in particular was Seth Rollins, like, ripping AJ's leg off of the ring apron as Punk was like diving to tag her in, which is a pretty traditional spot. But like, I really do like how they kind of played with the interchanging of the gender dynamics. Usually it would be like the woman doing that to the woman, but I feel like that kind of really signaled that they were going to be like some interplay. So that was really cool.
I think it's a hard match to choreograph because of all the gender stuff. Like,
And because they're so dead set on like really limiting contact.
Yeah.
Mutual contact.
Right.
Like they'll create the heat with like Becky slapping Punk a bunch of times, but it's like you can tell they're very conscientious of like that line.
Yeah, totally. I felt that way too. And like, I don't know.
Whereas in AEW, it's like, no, you're getting this.
Your wife's gonna get piled.
You're getting shoot pile driver.
No, totally. And like, I kind of missed. I think that's why this match.
AEW, like we hit women here.
Right. Well, and like, I hate to be like this, but like, it's kind of like the opposite of like, I want as a woman in wrestling to see like a Rhea Ripley like kick the shit out of a Dominic Mysterio, right? Like,
of course,
we all want to see it. Like, we all wish that we lived in a world where like
Dom wants it too.
everybody wants to see that. And I feel like AJ Lee had a couple moments where she did her famous like finisher. What's it called again?
The submission move.
Yeah,
the Black Widow submission.
Yes, the Black Widow. And I think she did it to both Becky and Seth, and I thought that was cool. But like, I don't know, I would have liked to see like a little bit more from this match and a little less like towing the line of respect, because something tells me that these four like actually really like each other and really have fun doing this.
Yeah.
And I think I could read that through the lines of this match. And I think like, there's parts of it that are really heated. Like, I feel like Becky and Punk, like, I feel like they carry that like heat. But, AJ Lee, I think, has been out for a little while and is still probably trying to like get
a lot of this match was protecting her
for sure. Exactly. And I get that. And you can't just go in swinging crazy like, when you've been gone for 10 years. But like, yeah, I think for me, like, this was the main event, but then I understood after seeing it why it wasn't.
Why you don't want to end on it. Yeah.
Because it wasn't, I think, the payoff that the fighting of these, these couples brought. And I also, I really like the two couples a lot. I just wish there was like more drama between like when they started teasing like Becky and Seth having like fighting inner fighting. Like, you like that because they're the heels. And, like, oh, their marriage isn't perfect, and like
right.
It's like there's some of that I feel like was missing a little bit, and I needed like a drop or two of like Drew McIntyre heat between these two couples. And they're just, I think, was like they were all having a great time.
They were for sure getting a steak dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah. If not, like, the four of them kiss. The four of them kiss after. But like, I was gonna say too,
we got the Wrestle, but none of the Palooza.
Yeah. The promos and the build up to this match has been so fun, and like, it's been such a fun thing to watch Becky go after Punk, and then they all go after AJ coming back. Like, it's all been like such a blast. And like, I also really like getting a peep into like the marriages too, like their relationship. And yeah, I love to see it. I love to see intergender anything with WWE. So
we should do more of that. And there's because I think what was that match that they had on Raw with AJ Styles and like the Kabuki Warriors?
Yeah, the most ridiculous like trio of all
my trio's champions right there.
Oh my god, I loved it.
They should do more of that.
AJ Styles and the Kabuki Warriors was such a banger.
That might have been my favorite AJ Styles match.
It was my favorite. Well, it was absolutely my favorite. I think they need to do more like zany stuff like that.
If this show had any listeners, they'd be very mad about me saying that.
Oh, I know, but whatever. I loved it. This match I thought was good, but I didn't think it was as good as it could have been. But I enjoyed it still.
Well, it had a little bit of the AEW tagitis. Yeah. Where we're about 15, 20 minutes in, you can't tell who the fucking legal man is, man or woman, and it all just becomes like a big mishmash. and the referee just kind of stops giving a shit, which, you know, like, I don't know, man. I don't want to be like the Cornette, like modern wrestling, shaking my fist guy.
Yeah.
I think that some of this stuff is more entertaining when it breaks down in a way that makes sense, but this just kind of seemed like an artificial, like, escalation into the match to kind of prolong it. I do kind of like knowing who's legal every now and again, so that when somebody actually does do a tag, like a pinfall, like I'm sitting there focusing on the count and not whether like, wait, hold on, was that the legal person? Like,
Right.
you know, and maybe like I just need to stop being a mark about it, but I don't know. I've noticed that it's like for as much shit as AEW gets in terms of like its match structure, I feel like WWE kind of succumbs to that sometimes as well. The match ends with AJ submitting Becky, which I thought was like very interesting. I mean, that is her move, but it's like, you know, it's like with Jey Uso and Gunther. It's like I just feel like the submissions are like choices,
I
you
don't know,
know.
dude. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm just new, but like the submissions don't bother me that much, especially if it's like her signature move.
That was what I kind of let it float by on. It was like, okay, this is her, because I don't really know if she has like a non-submission one. So I was like, okay, well, she's got it. The important thing is that she goes over on Becky. Um, I think that I understand AJ Lee. I think I get it.
Well,
This match was she was very understandably rusty in this match. A lot of this was about making her look good, but also protecting her in the different sequences of it. Um, but what I think is that I think the appeal of her is that she just feels so organically her character.
I just think she came up in a really different time and like I think her I mean, you know what, she gives me a lot of like Alexa Bliss vibes.
Hmm.
But I think her whole, I think, like I said, we watched that like history of her best work or whatever. But like, I think the reason that she was really good was that she was very smart and
Hmm.
like, you know, tricked people into thinking that she was like a crazy girl, but like she's
Yeah,
actually like highly intelligent. And I think that people really picked up on it. And she's coming back kind of without the like crazy girl, but like she's paying homage to it, but she's now like a really smart, interesting woman. And like, I think that I'm excited to see like what the 2.0 version of her
yeah.
is.
I would like to see her do an anti-Cena thing where she actually works with younger talent.
Yeah.
And you know, if Nikki Bella is any indication with how they're using her, like they will put her on the circuit, and I think maybe that's kind of where I would love to see. I don't want to see legacy acts just kind of like playing with each other,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I
So
think
I'm
she,
looking forward to that. I think this was fine. I hope that they'll probably have, you know, AJ and Becky in a intercontinental feud for a little bit, but I hope that they kind of break her away and she gets to work enough to where I get to see her with like Roxanne Perez or Lyra Valkyria, or you know, like,
perfect.
you know, I
Because
would love to.
they need somebody to spice them up.
Yeah. And now we go to the main events, which, you know, makes sense in terms of work rate that it's the main event, but it's just like, is Cody Rhodes the guy that should be ending these shows?
I think that he's just the title holder, and the title matches are the most important. Like I'm trying to look at it more like a GMO
Yeah.
situation.
So
Like
this is my big belt.
this is my guy. He's at 100% popularity. He's my title holder. And
Is he at 100% popularity?
I mean, the kids like him, you know, the kid, sound like Cornette. I feel like he is the one that you bring your like family to see, you know, like
Mm, yeah.
he's the company man. He's the one that represents everything. So like
Yeah.
until he's like, you know, dethroned, he's going to be probably always the main event guy, you know?
Yeah. To be honest with you, like I don't have a lot of on this match. I've got 3 bullet points. It basically is just like recapping the finish, which we've already seen.
this isn't a rivalry. Like, I just feel like Drew McIntyre is just a ball of heat, and he works with everyone, and he's perpetually after the belt and never gets it, and like, I don't know. There's just like nothing. There's nothing that's driving me to like be invested in this match other than like.
I actually think that this could produce one of the better Cody Rhodes feuds that he's ever had, and I think he does need that. I think he does need like an actual foil. But the thing is that like if you envision this as like kind of a trilogy, kind of like what he had with Punk, you would want to kick it off with Drew taking the belt off of him. And I thought maybe because they were putting this in the final spot, that was kind of be the surprise to end this to end Saturday. You can't, because he just won it back.
Yeah.
And you essentially, it wasn't just him winning it back. You were retconning like a big clusterfuck with the whole Cena heel turn. So it's like you don't want to add more chaos, but then putting the belt onto Drew McIntyre. But it really kind of makes sense for you to put the belt on Drew McIntyre. It's because now that he's beaten him pretty cleanly, like there was no chicanery. Like they tend to do these things with Cody Rhodes matches where they love to tease the heel turn with him.
I know. I was just about to say that's really like that.
So sometimes he does like these nefarious, like kind of low key dastardly things to like keep a hold of the belt. And I thought maybe like he would do that here, and then Drew would have a gripe, and that would be the thing that kind of spins out the feud into something more intense, because this has only been building for like 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And admittedly, like you and I aren't watching SmackDown as much anymore. So like we're catching this through like maybe like 15-minute highlight reels. But to us, it's like we're catching the full segments, and I think they just started like, you know, really paying attention to this. And I think like it was just like like just last week where he was just like, oh, and by the way, you and me, WrestlePalooza,
Oh no.
Yeah, you and me, Drew, at the Palooza. WrestlePalooza, Drew. You and me for my belt.
The heel turn though is why people probably are tuning in and like.
Well, they love to tease it, and they're not going to do it, but it's just like Cena. They love to tease it, and they love to tease it. And I was just like, I thought here this would be like okay, Drew's going to be like, I got screwed again, as he loves doing. It's his whole character, and they still might do that. But like, I just think that the way that the match was laid out, it didn't really like make it clear how they were going to continue this, which I think they should. But also at the same time, this was so ugh, that I'm not really sure. But I will say this: the Punk and McIntyre feud really, in my opinion, only had one good match, and that was Hell in the Cell.
It was all about the promos.
It was all about the promos. So, maybe that's where the magic will come later on, but I thought I have a concern about this being a common refrain for Cody Rhodes, but also up against the insistence of putting him at the end of the card, because they're going all in on this guy. And if you're going to go all in on him, then it's like you said at the top. It's like he is better chasing.
Mm-hmm.
Drew is a mega heel. He has the potential to be like MJF level of like nuclear heat magnet.
Yeah.
If you let him run and you give him the belt for longer than 5 minutes, they're not going to do that. And so I don't really know.
Well,
He absolutely does.
I feel like he would be such a good champion.
Yeah.
And he would be so much more fun to watch as a company man than Cody Rhodes. I feel like Cody Rhodes, it's like, bro is just a tryhard. And I feel like Drew McIntyre, like, is just so naturally funny and so naturally, like, good at generating heat and, like, being that guy. And I would just love to see him at the helm for a while,
Did you see that clip of him just like, I can't remember the interview, but it was like something along the lines of him just being like, yeah, 80% of the guys in the locker room just look like they should be like managing a fast food restaurant.
Brutal.
It's just like that is the heel champion that you need.
Yeah. Shit on everyone.
Right.
Shit on everyone.
It's like, do you know why this belt is?
Actually, you shouldn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
No, don't shit on anyone. Please don't do that.
That's right. That's right.
Disclaimer.
That's right. If there's one thing we've learned,
let's not go back.
That's right.
Go forward. But yeah, like Drew should definitely be the company man because he would be like the anti-company man. He would be like,
well, Cody doesn't need the belt to do all those things, you know?
No. I think he's, like you said, he's a better chaser than he is haver. But anyway, yeah, this match.
I don't think that Cody should have the belt until he's ready to turn heel. Honestly, like I feel like the belts are for the heels.
That's true.
And then you occasionally give them to the babyface.
I know, but people had enough like heartbreak on this show. Like I think that's another reason for the retain.
We're kind of caught in the Cody Rhodes quagmire where we have a lot at stake with this guy, and I like him. I think he's just kind of in that Seth Rollins tier with me, where it's just like I like him. I appreciate what he does. He's worked really hard to get where he is. I just, you know, eh, if you told me to pick someone to build a company around, it's just I don't know if I'd have to go pretty far down the list before I would get to Cody Rhodes personally. But you know, I've always also said that the heel turn will probably be the thing, like Hogan, where it is the defining moment or the defining era.
Well, because it lives in him.
Right.
You
Right. Which is maybe what makes this so uninteresting is that because it stands in stark contrast to the thing that I know and that we all know is where the money is. Where we are now with like Punk and Rollins feuding and Cody holding the belt and Cena on his like legacy appreciation tour, I kind of feel like that's where we will be
6 months from now.
in 6 months from now, and I'm waiting for the thing that I'm waiting. I remember when we were just before we close out. I know we were talking about the Punk and AJ Lee and Seth and Becky match, and we were talking about the possibility of like AJ turning on Punk and joining the Vision, and there was a bit of a visual. There was a bit of a visual moment on Raw when Seth told her that he has a penchant for running out on people, and if you lose on Saturday, you better hope he doesn't run out on you too. And she kind of had this moment, whether intentional or not. She looked at him, and I saw it, and I was like, you know, this moment in time here with WWE and them wanting to expand at ESPN is I mean, maybe WrestlePalooza creates the baseline for the uninitiated casual fan. It invites them to come in and you don't want to shake things up right away. But I think once you've kind of established the characters of the story and then a few weeks go by, I think we're coming to that point where like it would really be nice to just have like a real paradigm shift at some level.
Yeah.
Once we get past the retirement tour, I'm really looking for the reclamation of like the new talent because I feel like that's really where they started to make hay was that they made the investments in like this is the future and we're going to act like it, and now they have to take this detour.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm paloozing as much as I should. So hopefully that begins to change. But for the time being, this is we're going to wrap it up here. We hope to have you here again and to talk your ear off about more graps. So have a good night and see you next time.
Thanks.